Hey, welcome everybody to the live show. You made it. And I'm here with the one and only Buzz Patterson. Welcome, Buzz, and thank you for making it tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's going to be fun. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. In fact, I mean, this election has got to be the craziest thing I've ever seen. You've seen more than me, but I've been watching them since about 96. And that was about when I was first old enough to really understand what was going on a little bit. And it's never been like this. But that's when you were in the Clinton administration, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you. So in 96 was the year I started working for President Clinton. So, and I was an Air Force pilot. So, Ace, I wasn't politically inclined for, my entire Air Force career until I started working for the Clintons. So I worked for them from 96 to 98. And then I went back to the Air Force and I was a commander at the Air Force Academy. And then I retired in 2001 to fly for Delta Airlines. Wow. And this is the craziest time. We can talk about the Clintons, and I've got Clinton stories.
I want to know. Yeah, we want them.
Dude, I've got Clinton stories that will curl your toes. Okay.
I can't wait.
So I was that guy. You can't apply for the White House job. They searched me out and hired me from, I was just a squadron commander flying airplanes for the Air Force in Northern California and loving life.
Wow.
And the White House reached out and said, would you come out and interview to be the president's, in this case, Clinton, nuclear football carrier? And I said, well, I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I'll come out and interview for that. So I did, and my life changed forever. I mean, literally forever. I'm not a Democrat, number one. I'm not a Clinton supporter, number two. They hired me anyway, number three. You know what I mean? And
you're still with us.
Number four, I'm still with you guys. I know all about Hillary, and she has not knocked me off yet. So I'm still out here.
I think you're probably safe at this point. We mark you safe.
No, maybe. I think what happened, actually, in all honesty, I think what happened was that when I left the White House and retired from the Air Force, I wrote Dereliction of Duty. Mm-hmm. And the Clintons decided that they went after me initially, and they decided that they couldn't take me out. I was just too visible, and so I'm still walking around, and hopefully will forever, But yeah, so that's how I got here, to be on your show. Yeah.
Yeah, I read your book, Dereliction of Duty. It was fantastic. I went through a season in the early 2000s where I first started getting into politics really big, and I read all those books. And my favorites about the Clintons were your book, Dereliction of Duty, and then Ann Coulter's High Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Yes.
Another fantastic book.
Yeah.
So what was it that was the first thing that started making you a little more politically inclined while working for him? What was the thing that started making you kind of be like, what's going on here?
Dude, that's a great question. And I'll tell you that when I first got there, I was politically apathetic because, you're as an Air Force pilot, you're taught to serve and fly and fight and do all that kind of stuff. And then again, I got the White House job, and it's not a job you can apply for. They hired me out of nowhere. I mean, I was literally I was a combat vet. I'd done my tours and flew airplanes and was a squadron commander out in Northern California. But I think that what really turned me during my time was the White House. And then seeing how the Clintons conducted business. Mm-hmm. So I walked into the White House, Ace. I walked into the White House expecting, I'd been in the Air Force for 16 years. I expected like a certain quality of organization, of leadership, of, just strategic vision, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got there and there was none of that.
Wow.
Absolutely zero. And I realized that I was in a whole different world. And so I did my job. I was sworn to the office, not to the person.
Sure.
And I started to learn how, when you're at high levels of government and you are working next to people who are, I mean, in this case, it was the most important person in the world and the most important building in the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was walking around with a nuclear football, which is the most important suitcase in the world. Yes. It was crazy.
It's crazy.
I went from being an Air Force pilot to doing that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got there. And then I realized, just over 2 years, I didn't say a word, man. Of course, I was there again to serve the office. Then I realized that there were things going on in our government that I didn't agree with. And that's how I decided to write my first book after I was actually able to write it. Because, when you're in active duty, you can't talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't talk about that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I waited till I retired, and then I wrote Dereliction of Duty. And, I actually think it was cathartic for me. And I thought it was going to be cathartic for the country. And then we have done so many things since then that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gotten crazier.
What you're looking at right now, Ace, is, I mean, I thought Clinton was really, really bad. And that's why I wrote the book. And now I'm seeing what's going on with Biden.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I'm trying to get the message out there, but
it feels to me almost like the Clintons kind of started the trend of the degrading of the government to where like there's less professionalism, less that honor kind of system of just like, because like I mean, you can say whether deep state stuff that goes even further back, but I feel like the cultural side really started degrading under the Clintons. Would you agree with that, or what would you say?
Absolutely. I think that the whole with the rhetoric that's going on right now in the country, how we're talking both sides. I mean, I think the Clintons initiated that. And I think the Clintons initiated the lack of respect for the military. They started using their positions to elevate their own philosophies. And then George W. Bush kind of tamped it down a little bit, right? For 8 years. And then Obama just inflamed it. And then Biden inflamed it. And guess who's inflaming it now? It's Kamala Harris.
Oh my gosh.
So and I think this, where I come from, Ace, is a position of being a military guy and being a commander in the military. And I'm thinking about, and you should ask your viewers this. What do you want in your commander in chief? What do you want in your military? I mean, are we supposed to be there and break things and kill people and dominate? Or are we supposed to be there just to do transgender surgeries? What I mean? So I think that's where we've gotten to, and that's why I continue to write. Yeah.
Well, so coming out of the Clintons, and we're going to go back to them because I know you got stories. But I want to kind of talk about the trend of what you've been seeing since then. Like when Trump came on the scene in 2016, were you as shocked as the rest of us, kind of as this guy was rising through the Republican ranks and how he was changing things?
You know what? Donald Trump is a change agent.
Mm-hmm.
And, I actually, with my hand behind my back, voted for Mitt Romney.
Mm-hmm.
With my hand behind my back, I voted for Bob Dole.
Yeah.
With my hand behind my back, I would support any Republican. And when Trump ran in 2015, I thought, this is the guy that can actually, because, being in Washington, D.C., I can honestly tell you, Ace, that I was appalled at both sides.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
So, yeah, at both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw from the inside the Clinton corruption and degradation of,
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized the Republicans were no better.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did vote against. I did vote against Al Gore, and I voted against Hillary Clinton. Oh my God, we can talk about Hillary all night long.
I'm definitely going to get a couple of Hillary stories.
I've got some Hillary stories again that. So I actually retired from flying for Delta Airlines because Hillary Clinton was running in 2016. So I couldn't do it as an airline pilot, right? So I had to get out there as just a dude with knowledge, and write about and talk about Hillary Clinton. So yeah, I think our political system is corrupt and broken. And the only guy that I've seen, I don't know, in 30 years to kind of break it up is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not perfect.
No.
I'm not on the Donald Trump payroll. But I mean? I'd love to be.
Yeah.
But I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so I think that we're in a position right now with this election that we have to make decisions. And I'm one of those guys that wants to help people make decisions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting. Do you think it's being that you were kind of military and apolitical going into the Clintons that allowed you when you did, because when you wrote your book, it was a bestseller. You're probably very embraced by the Republican side of things, conservative side. And, but you were able to, even with that, kind of remain an independent thinker, like you said, not get completely sucked into them, because I've seen many on the Republican side who they hate Trump too. I mean, look at all the people endorsing it. Cheney, which good riddance. We don't miss him, but Romney, all these guys who just, we can't vote for Trump, and they're just selling themselves out over to the other side, which is really showing you the uniparty aspect of everything. But do you think it was just being that military guy that allowed you to kind of judge both sides more freely like that?
That's a fantastic question. I think that for me, it comes from a place of just wanting leadership and somebody that can actually be a commander in chief. I think Trump was. I don't think Biden has been. I don't think Kamala Harris, who doesn't have any idea that we have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No. We have people in combat, and she thinks we don't have people in combat.
Yeah, that was embarrassing on that debate.
In my mind, Ace, that's eliminating. If you're going to try to be the commander in chief, and you don't know that we have, and we've always had guys and girls, and we will forever have guys and girls in combat situations.
Absolutely.
Forever. And we should, right? That's what we do. We go out there and do things. If she doesn't know that we have guys and girls in combat situations, and she says that, on national TV, I still have I still have a lot of buddies in the service.
Hmm.
I have a lot of buddies that are in combat zones tonight, right now.
Wow.
And when they said that, my phone lit up.
Really?
I got texts from guys that are in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Syria. I mean, Northern Africa. We're fighting. We're in combat, dude, all over the world, and we always will be. And I was one of those guys until I retired. So I understand what these guys and girls are doing.
Sure.
But for her to say that, Ace, that unqualifies her.
Yeah.
Unqualifies her. I mean, if she doesn't understand that
there's nothing about her that's qualified anyway. She wasn't voted on.
No,
she just got
not a single vote. Not a single vote, and she doesn't know where a single guy in active duty is.
It's unbelievable. It's, even the Clintons in some way, shape, or form played by the rules a little bit of the American, at least in front of everybody for the most part. But but they at least got elected. You could say that.
Well, that's true. And I will tell you, I mean, the Clintons, having worked for them and lived with them for 2 years. So I actually had a bedroom and an office in the White House when I was there. Are you
serious?
Yes.
So you slept there? Wow.
I did. My bedroom was in the basement of the East Wing.
Roommates with Bill.
Sorta. Sorry. But,
that's okay.
But yeah, so the Clintons got it a little bit. But yeah, if you don't understand, if you're running for office and you don't understand that we have guys and girls in uniform that are actually taking fire tonight, you're unqualified.
Yeah,
you're simply you're unqualified. And
so, with all your connections still in the military, do you hear is the military going as woke and everything as it seems to be, or is that just more of the outward appearance? Is that spreading within too?
Oh, it's totally woke, dude. And it's very, I mean, most military guys, especially the retired guys like me, are just cannot believe it. Right. We're like, our job again is to dominate the world, kill people, kill the bad guys, and break things. That's our job. And when it's time for us to do the humanitarian rescue stuff, which we do, the Air Force, the military does, the U.S. military does more humanitarian rescue in the world than anybody in the world. Yeah. We will go and pull your ass out of wherever you are and do our best job, unless you have people like Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. I was so proud to serve 20 years in the U.S. Air Force. I was so proud to show the flag everywhere that we went. Yeah, so proud to work with the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard. I was so proud for all those things. And I don't know that people right now who are serving are so proud.
Sure.
And that's a sad commentary, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the leadership.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Did what year did you enlist?
So I came in 81. And I retired, and so I came in under Reagan. This is kind of a cool story.
Okay.
Personal story. I mean, it might not be cool to you, but so I was in graduate school at Virginia Tech, getting my master's in economics, and the Air Force at the time had a program where you could, they would pay your way through law school, if you gave them 2 years as a JAG after law school.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, a pretty good deal.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
So I got into that program. I graduated with my master's. I was going to go to law school at Georgetown. And my recruiter said, hey, you know what? President Reagan's the new president. He wants to enlist a lot of pilots. Do you want to consider being a pilot? I had never flown a single day, a single time in my entire life. And I thought, you know what? That's kind of a cool idea.
Uh-huh.
So he said, you know what? You can also go to law school. If you don't like the flying thing, you can go to law school after you either get through the pilot training or you quit. So I thought, let's do the pilot training thing. So I did that, Ace, and I loved it. So I did the initial training in San Antonio.
Wow.
Yeah, I never flown an airplane in my entire life.
Mm.
So I flew the 172 for the Air Force, and they sent me to Columbus, Mississippi to fly. I flew T-37s and T-38s. So I was flying supersonic jets, and I go, hey, this is kind of cool. I'm a single guy. I'm looking to meet girls. I thought this is kind of cool. So I decided to be a pilot.
It was a good time to be a pilot, man, with Top Gun coming out in the 80s.
Dude, it was 2 years before that.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing. I mean, perfect. And I was flying the same jets. So it was like, hey, girls, Was
it the F-16s?
Yeah. So I flew the F-5.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, I decided I wanted to fly internationally. So I flew 141s, C-141s.
Okay.
I went to 69 countries over 16 years. So, yeah. I mean, my life has been super blessed.
It sounds like it. Very exciting.
The Air Force has been brilliant to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't change a day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad I didn't go to law school. I mean, I seriously.
Sure.
Yeah.
You had more fun this way. My grandfather retired Air Force, and so did my uncle. So I actually almost went in, but then I met my wife, and I didn't. We already had a child, so I didn't want to be jumping around too much. So I stopped at the last second, but I would have been in during all this, so I don't think I missed too much. That was 2008. So
2000, I would have been about that's about right. That's about right. Yeah. I mean, I'm out now, and I realized I had to leave because I just needed to get my life back.
Yeah.
If you got a wife, especially if you have kids, the Air Force thing is great when you're a single dude.
Yeah.
But if you're a family guy, I was gone so much that it was ridiculous, and especially when I was at the White House, I was gone. So I was at the White House. So my wife and I got married. We were engaged before I went to the White House, and then we got married a year into the White House. And I was gone. I don't know if you want to know what TDY means, but I was TDY for 280 days each year. So I was gone overseas.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
So somebody in the chat wants to know if you saw any UFOs while you were flying.
You know what? I get this question a lot.
Yeah.
I've flown for 36 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen anything that I couldn't describe.
Okay.
I always tell people that. I've never seen anything that I couldn't describe. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. I've seen people shooting at me. I've seen, but nothing that I couldn't actually describe. And again, 20 years at Delta, 20 years in the Air Force, 16 at Delta.
Wow.
So no, I mean, I've seen some weird shit, but nothing I couldn't describe.
Did you ever hear any stories from anybody?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, constantly. Yeah, I
Really?
did.
Okay.
Yeah, constantly. And I'm not diminishing it. I'm not, I'm not dismissing it.
Do you think it's possible that it's like some hidden technology
Sure.
versus? Okay.
Sure, you bet. And people ask me this all the time, and I'm just going to say personally, I haven't seen it, but I've had friends who have seen it, and associates. So yeah, I cannot. And when I was working with, this is a good story.
Okay.
When I was working for President Clinton, he asked me one time, "You ever been to Area 51?" I said, "No, sir, I have not." He goes, "You want to go?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do."
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. So we went. We actually went, and
That's awesome.
yeah, and we went underground and the whole nine. Okay?
Oh, wow.
And I didn't see. I mean, he was like looking for aliens too. We went down underground, and I didn't see anything. I mean, they had, Area 51. I've been there a couple of times. They're doing a lot of advanced aerodynamics and stuff.
Okay.
Some of the stuff you're seeing in the sky right now, some of the stuff that people think are UFOs, they're not UFOs. They're stuff that we're cultivating, right?
That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah. I've been there with the president, and I didn't see anything as an Air Force pilot that alarmed me. I mean, maybe they weren't showing us the whole book. That could have been true, right? They're not showing the president the whole book, right? But sure. We went there, and I didn't see anything that was other than super top secret, which I had at the time. Technology. Wow. And I think the Air Force is still pulling it out there. I mean, I think a lot of it is just us keeping it away from the Russians.
Wow. Okay. So when carrying the nuclear football, I'm guessing you were around Bill all the time. Was that how that worked?
Yeah. 24/7. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
like Marine One, Air Force One, foreign trips, official visits, the whole, yeah.
Hopefully not the Epstein jets.
Epstein was way later than me.
Later, yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So the football has to be around the president 24/7.
That's what I figured, because in case anything happens, it's got to be right there, right?
Yeah, it's a given. Mm-hmm. So that's why the military aid has a bedroom.
Yeah. So despite all the insanity going on with the Clintons, is Bill a good hang, or was he?
A good hang?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill was a much better hang than Hillary.
That doesn't surprise me.
Bill was fun. So Bill and I would jog in the morning, and we'd go to the golf course. And, if he wasn't being presidential, Ace, he was actually a really super cool guy.
Really?
He doesn't have a moral fiber in his body, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But he's funny. He's gregarious. We would go on jogs, and he would be talking about college football and the weather, or he would ask me questions about the military.
Yeah.
He asked me questions about Bosnia. I said, "Yes, sir. This is what's going on in Bosnia," and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He was super cool to hang out with, but not a moral fiber in his body.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
So Hillary, on the other hand, is just a complete bitch. Complete.
So she doesn't just play one on TV.
No. So I tell people no, she's a complete bitch in real life. I would tell people that when Hillary was in the White House, it was like, the Nazis running the trains on time. And we were in Air Force One, we were eating salads, and when Hillary was not there in the White House or in Air Force One, it was a freaking frat party.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yes, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Bill was having a great time on Air Force One. Bill was ordering, like Mexican food and barbecue, and he would surf down on the trays. So the Air Force One flight attendants had these trays.
Uh-huh.
He would surf down the aisle on trays on the Air Force One takeoff. And I'm going, sir, you really can't do that. He didn't care. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Hillary was just a party pooper, huh? She just
shoot. She's a pooper. Yeah.
Yeah. Was she really, was she the brains behind it all? And was Bill just having a good time, or
that's a great question. They're both incredibly smart. Okay, just give them that. They're both incredibly smart. Bill was, I probably watched him give 200 speeches in my 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Bill is brilliant.
Uh-huh.
He can bring it. He can speak. I don't care if he's talking to a group of Democrats or a group of Republicans, or he can bring it. The guy can speak, and people like him. When you shake Bill Clinton's hand, you have met the president of the freaking United States. He's that good. He is, I didn't care for him, but I appreciated that aspect. Hillary, on the other hand, is she doesn't have any charisma.
Nope.
She has no ability to speak. She is very vindictive, profane, and when I first got there, Ace, my first day, they told me that Hillary did not want anybody in the hallways to exchange eye glances eye glances or just good morning, Mrs. Vice President. She didn't want any confrontation. And so, for a while, I kind of, that was my first edict, right?
Okay.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
So I did it for a while, and I was the senior military aide for the President of the United States, and I figured out, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. But people would. Senior staffers would dive into office hallways.
Yeah.
To avoid her gaze. I'm talking about senior staffers, not just, and so I just said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. After about 3 months, and I didn't, and she didn't care, but that was her edict. Yeah.
Wow. So when a lot of people have assumed from the outside looking in that Bill and Hillary, they don't have like a real marriage. It's kind of more of a professional marriage on paper. Would you say there's truth to that? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I never saw a single intimate moment between those two in 2 years. Not a single one. So their deal is it's a agreement. It's a consensual business agreement. Yeah. So I was there, Ace, when I knew Monica Lewinsky. So when Monica Lewinsky came out in 98, I knew that Hillary knew.
Oh,
I
wow.
knew that we all knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
gosh. I'm guessing she wasn't the only one, right? During that time?
oh
No.
hell hell no.
Bill. God, that guy. I had friends like Bill in college. I could only imagine. It was like
We all did.
having him as president. Yeah.
We all did. But he's president.
Yeah, I know. There's a standard. I laugh because that's all you can do. It's like, but yeah, when you put it into the fact he was president, it's horrifying. But that, so with Monica, I've heard you say this before. I think it was when you were on Tim Pool's show a month ago. But you said Hillary didn't speak to Bill for like a year after that came out.
No. So yeah, after Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She didn't. Oh my God. That was my darkest time. I had about a year left. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I knew all about Monica. I knew about Hillary. Knew about Monica. I mean, this was not a surprise. So when the Monica thing happened, it was January of 2018. So I knew about it. Everybody else was kind of writing about it, but nobody was talking about it. I mean, seriously. And so Drudge posted it one night.
Oh, Drudge, back when he was good.
Back in the day when he was good, right? So here's my story, Ace. So I was, I'm sleeping in the White House. My job is to go brief the president about the nuclear codes. We did it every 3 months. It was, hey, sir, do you have any questions? Would you like to talk about the process? And Clinton was pretty good about that. I mean, actually, he was pretty good. I mean, and not going to throw him under the bus about the nuclear stuff, because he was actually pretty good.
Okay.
So I went down to the Oval, and it's probably like 7 a.m. because I was the first guy on the schedule. And my bedroom was downstairs. So I got my suit on. I'm just, I'm kind of busting it. And, you know what I mean? And I walk in. So there's an outer Oval Office and there's an inner Oval Office.
Okay.
So the outer Oval Office is where the secretary, who at the time was Betty Currie, fantastic lady, superb lady. There's also a social aide that's there normally. But I walked in and it's like 7 a.m. I don't know. It's January 20th, 98. So I walk in, and Clinton always wanted his newspapers stacked. So he could, I mean, he read voraciously. So he wanted the Washington Post, the LA Times, Chicago Tribune, New York Times. He wanted them all every single morning. So I walked in and go, okay, he hasn't got them yet, so I'm going to take him into them. So, because Betty wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Well, I take these newspapers in, being the aide that I am, right? The super aide that I am.
Yeah.
It wasn't my job, right? But I'm going to do it anyway.
Sure.
Because Betty wasn't there. So I'm just going to take them in. And so I walk into the Oval, and there's Bill Clinton behind his desk. And dude, he's got his head in his hands. And you can see he's been up all night. I mean, his eyes are bloodshot. I'm just there to give him his frickin' nuclear briefing, right? I'm not kind of cuddle him and, So I walk in and I said, hey, sir, here's your papers. I'm just here to give you your briefing, your briefing. And I knew, and so I was there for the nuclear football thing. So I said, "Do you have?" He goes, "Yeah." I saw that the Washington Post headline was "Sex Scandal Rocks White House."
Oh, no.
So I knew this was going to be a shitty day. Right? This is not my idea of a good time. So I walk in. I saw that. So I put the papers down and I said, "Hey, sir, do you want to have your nuclear briefing right now? I know this is going to be a kind of a tough morning." He goes, "Yeah, can you come back?" I said, "Yeah, I can come back." And I said, "You know what? I'm here for your nuclear briefing.
Mm.
Do you have any questions?" He goes, "Nope." And I said, "Can I just see if you have the nuclear codes?" He goes, "I don't have them." And I go, "I don't have them." And I go, "What, dude? What? You don't have the nuclear codes?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't have them." And I go, he goes, "And please don't tell anybody that I don't have them."
Okay.
He goes, because he was looking at the Monica Lewinsky shit, right? So he looked at that. So I said, "Okay, we can just do a search on the White House and make sure we can find the codes?" He goes, "Yeah, do that." So we did.
Jeez.
And we found nothing.
Wow.
And then I went back down to him, Ace, and said, "Okay, sir, we can't find him. You have so the nuclear codes, Ace, are the thing that the president has to have.
Yeah.
The military aid can launch, whatever hell we're going to launch, right?" So he goes, "Yeah, I don't know." So we looked over the entire house, the White House, and we couldn't find him. And then I went back down, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't know." So we had to recreate the nuclear codes. So I had to call the Pentagon and say, "Hey, guys, he lost the codes. I don't know if there's any protocol for this. There's probably not, but
wow,
the codes." So yeah, that was my experience that I talk about also in Reelection of Duty. But you know what? The thing, Ace, was the only thing he said to me that I think I took away was, "Yeah, please don't tell the press."
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Don't tell the press. So he didn't care about the fact that we didn't have national security.
He only care about his own profile, right?
His ass. He cared about his ass.
Yeah. Bill seemed like he was the type who really enjoyed what people thought of him over a lot of other things. I mean, I always think of how he came in so liberal in 92 to 94, and then Newt won with all the House Republicans. And then after that, Bill Clinton was pretty much, old school Republican after that, as far as how he ran the place. Welfare reform, all those things.
You know what? Ace, he wasn't a bad president.
No, looking back,
if you just
look at policies, he was not the worst.
Looking back, he was not bad. I critiqued him for being a horrible commander-in-chief. But looking back, compared to Bush, Obama,
oh my God, what we've had since
it wasn't that bad.
No.
Domestically, it wasn't that bad.
I feel like the Clintons' major imprint that's negative is the cultural stuff, the way they degraded the office and everything, and that's had a lasting effect that's been horrible. And without Clinton, without Clinton, you don't get Obama, and so on and so forth. The Democratic Party doesn't get worse, so that's more their lasting legacy. But yeah, if you just look at the pure presidency, those 8 years, I mean, gosh, I'd take it over half of what we've had, or 2/3, 3/4 of what we've had.
And he's not a bad dude. I mean, actually, he doesn't have I'm going to say this again. He has not a moral fiber in his body. He was a great guy to hang out with. If you wanted to have a beer tonight,
yeah,
you'd go to see Bill Clinton.
he's looking kind of frail now. I don't know if that would
Oh,
be the best
he's
one.
he's looking dead now.
He looks like he's lived with Hillary too long. And she
Oh,
took
well,
all the life out of him.
that will hurt a man. I can tell you that right now.
What was your scariest moment with Hillary?
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a great question. You know what? Every moment with Hillary was scary. You know, when I first got there, I mean, I had so it was an assignment. I didn't apply for the job. They hired me.
Yeah.
And then my predecessor, I got like 2 weeks of OJT with my predecessor.
Okay.
He goes, Bill's a great dude. Just, you know, do what he wants. And he goes, if you cross Hillary, she's gonna rip your heart out.
Jeez.
And yeah, and that was so true that I abided by that like you would not believe. Yeah. My first time flying with her, is we were on Marine One going to Camp David. And she was just pissed because we had not responded within 2 hours of her off the record response. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. So she goes, wow. So we're going to Camp David. I said, well, you know, it's a Saturday morning. And I'm like, well, I gotta ring up Marine One and they got to get helicopters here. And I got to call Camp David, which is all the Navy guys. And she would not have it. Wow. And I got my ass kicked because we could not get her to Camp David quicker than 2 hours. Oh my God. And it was a Saturday morning, and I'm actually in bed asleep, and she's going, we're going to Camp David. And I'm going, well, that's gonna take a little bit. You know, can I get an hour? And she goes, nope, let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, she's a bitch.
Yeah. We're gonna take that away tonight. Is it a big takeaway?
You gotta pause that. You can't.
No, it's perfect. I think we all knew it. It's just, you know, it's refreshing to hear it from somebody who knows.
Oh my God. No, dude. She's incredible. I mean, you know, the fact that she's not president is.
Oh, I knew that would be the worst thing ever. I mean, so speaking of which, did you see that ambition in her when she was there? Like, yes. Because it seems like her not being president has just ruined her life. You know, that's what it seems like to me. That was her one goal.
Well, you know what? When Bill got in trouble for Monica Lewinsky, so he got kind of neutered, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Hillary took over, and she could have left him, and then she didn't, and they cut a deal. He was going to support her. She's going to support him. But the fact that she's not president, I am rejoicing.
Were you kind of surprised she didn't throw her head back in the ring this time around when it seemed open?
I wanted her to.
Yeah.
It would be big bucks for me, but no.
Yeah, you'd be on all the interview circuits.
I would. No. So she's not going to go away.
No.
She never will. She never will. And the thing about the Clintons are that they thrive on power because it gives them money.
Yeah.
I mean, both the Clintons are super wealthy.
Yeah, sure.
They are super wealthy because, you know, I mean, Bill's, like you said, Bill's going to die soon. Hillary keeps wanting to run. And I keep supporting that because I mean, I know her personally.
Mm-hmm.
I know her personally. She is the worst possible human being you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. So sorry, I heard your wife talking. If you need to talk or something.
She said, "Back it up."
Oh, back it up. Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to.
That's okay.
As long as you're okay with it.
I don't mind at all. This has been fantastic so far. So I did have I just had a question and I lost it for a sec. Hold on a sec. I regather my thoughts. The Hillary stuff and the Clinton stuff, so great. Do you still have like people who reach out to you about some of the things going on behind the scenes ever, or any of those things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about like the craziness going on in the Democratic Party these last few months with all the Biden stuff, and anything interesting there you could share?
You know what? This whole thing is such a amazing experiment into what's going on in the U.S. I mean, whole thing. I mean, the fact they kicked out Biden and they put in Kamala. The fact that Kamala can't even do an open press conference.
Yeah.
And the Tim Walz thing.
Oh, he's a joke. He's a big goober.
He's a big goober. I mean, his wife.
Yeah, I just saw her thing. Turn the page. Oh my god.
Oh my god. You know what? We are in such a place in this country. People are shooting at Trump.
Oh yeah.
They're shooting at Trump. And we've got two people. I mean, Kamala has not gotten a single vote in her life.
Yeah.
I mean, she's from California. So we're in California. Right?
Yeah.
And she was the AG here, and she ran for president in 2020. And she was number 5 in the California poll. So nobody in here likes her.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me that a former AG from California has to drop out because Californians hate her?
It's wild.
That's who she is. That's who she is. You know,
she's awful. We all know it. I mean, I don't believe anything that's coming out.
But does America know it?
I don't know. I think enough do. I do. I don't trust what's going on with a lot of the polling and everything right now, and I really don't trust anything that comes out of the media anymore. Yeah. I was going to ask you, you're in California, so although it's not that blue in Chico, it's pretty red up there. But you still probably have a better sense I'm in North Carolina right now, which I know you're from originally, correct?
Where in North Carolina?
I live in Concord, right outside Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, it's swing state, reddish. But I mean, from what I've seen, I just moved from Texas last year too, and then been around a little bit, been away from California since 2014. But to me, it seems like Trump is more popular than ever. It's all of a sudden it's okay to be a Trump supporter in person. All of a sudden, people are at least not scared of it anymore. I personally think we could see a very surprising kind of election night where red wave comes. Now they're going to try to rig stuff. I'm not supposing that won't happen. I know, but I'm very encouraged by what the RNC is doing with their lawsuits and catching them ahead of time, purging voter rolls, that sort of thing. And I think they don't have COVID going on right now, stuff like that to hide under. So, I mean, personally, to me, it looks very encouraging, but I do want to know your thoughts. Like, what do you think our chances are this time around?
With Trump? To
get Trump back.
I think we're doing great with Trump. And I live in California, and I've been here forever, and I love it.
It's beautiful. I miss California.
Yeah, the weather. My family's happy. My wife's from here. I think Trump's gonna kick ass.
Yeah,
he might even make Ben make big indentions in California. I mean, we're not going to win California.
No, not with the current leadership there, anyways.
No, and my God, and Gavin Newsom.
Oh,
we can go on for that forever, But no, I think Trump's in great place. I mean, and he's even picking up steam out here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We just had a great rally in Huntington Beach.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, he came out here and he did a thing in Palos Verdes, PV.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been out here raising money, so he's doing amazing things. He's not going to win this state.
Yeah,
but I will say this: I think that Trump, they keep trying to kill him.
They're scared of him, obviously.
They are. So there's a reason. There's a reason why Trump's been shot at twice, and no Democrats have been shot at ever.
Yeah, no joke.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know you are. It's so obvious. That's why I laugh, because
they're not trying to kill anybody else. They're trying to kill Trump.
They're not even trying to kill a lot of other Republicans. Romney and McCain, those guys weren't in danger. They were all part of the club.
Yeah. I mean, and so I saw today that Liz Cheney is behind this dude running against Ted Cruz.
Oh.
You know what?
That's the worst thing that could happen to that guy.
They can have her.
They can have all the Cheneys. Take them.
They can have her forever, right?
Exactly.
Take her. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trump's going to win, in my mind.
Yeah, I believe it too.
I'd love to work for him.
Well, he's going to be. He's really looking to staff everything the right way this time. And I love what I'm hearing with RFK Jr. and all that stuff. The way they're working together.
Ace. Here's the thing. I think that Trump's biggest failure last time, and I was a surrogate last time in 2016. I think Trump's biggest failure last time was the people he hired.
100%.
And I think he's going to do a much better job this time.
I agree.
And I think that, prayingly going forward, he doesn't, I don't know. I don't know who's counseling him. I would love to, but I don't know who's counseling him. Yeah. But you cannot hire people like that.
Yeah.
You've got to hire people. And I think Trump, the first time was just too early.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think he was going to win.
He also hadn't been a politician for long. He didn't really know.
He was not a politician.
Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think I think he does. I mean, I've talked to his people.
Yeah.
I just hope he does start picking the right people.
Yeah.
When he gets elected this time. Because I think he will get elected, and I think he needs a better staff.
I agree.
People were so undermining of him.
Yeah.
Last time.
Well, I think too, I'm sorry to interrupt you. My thought was that he won, and the Republicans saw the establishment Republicans saw their opportunity and swamped him, and he didn't know any better. And then he learned how bad just like you said, the Republicans were just as bad. He learned while he was there as they kept backstabbing him. And I think personally, and you can correct me on your thoughts if I'm wrong, but I almost see this 4-year break as a blessing, because I think we're going to get a much better Trump, efficient. I think the setup there's way more support now because people are fed up with the Democrats after 12 of 16 years, them ruining the economy in our country. I think he's going to have a mandate to really change a lot these next 4 years because of that break.
I totally agree.
Awesome.
100%. Yep. You and I are simpatico. I totally agree. And I think that I think he knows this, but I think he needs to come in this time. I think he's going to win. I think he needs to come in this time with just a frickin' stellar staff.
Amen.
And he can't just take what the RNC tells him to take.
No.
He got to take who his best advisors are advising him to take. Because last time I think he just did what was ever easiest, right?
I agree. I think he just was like I think he delegated so much, but he delegated to the wrong people because he didn't know any better again.
Right.
I think he thought really the Democrats were the enemy. He didn't realize it was the overall establishment was the enemy.
Exactly.
And, from what I could see anyways. So I've had a lot of people ask in the chat, but just when the Epstein stuff first came out and Bill obviously was attached, did any of that surprise you, or had you known any of that ahead of time?
So that's a two-edged question. So Bill Clinton is definitely capable of that. Yes, I saw it many times. The Epstein stuff did not happen until after my time there, so I cannot confirm. Okay. But it does sound exactly like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, like something he'd get caught up in.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was, since it was after you, it just was like, well, I believe it if it makes sense is kind of the thing. But you hadn't heard.
When I carried the football, I was with him 24/7.
Sure. Yeah.
And he never went down there. So I really can't, we did see Epstein. I did see Epstein.
Oh, really? Wow.
In the White House. Yes.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Did you meet him?
I wasn't my job to meet him. I saw him. Yeah. But, Bill never in my time went down to Epstein Island.
Okay.
But I saw Bill do amazing things with a lot of women. So I'm not going to, he obviously went down there.
Sure.
But I cannot personally attest.
Sure.
That I was with him.
No, yeah, I didn't think you'd be with him. If maybe you just heard. So I'm interested as well on because you also wrote another book on the Obama administration, and was some of that written from say like insider accounts of people who talked to you, or did you just write it from everything you were perceiving from the outside?
Oh, all my books are both.
Okay.
Yeah, all my books are both. My first book about the Clintons was 95% me.
Yeah, wow.
Because I was,
you had a lot of time there, yeah.
Yeah. My second book, so my first book was Dereliction of Duty. My second book was Reckless Disregard, and that was probably 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, and also taking other people's stories. My third book, I actually embedded myself into Iraq in the summer of 2005.
Oh, wow.
And if I can tell you guys anything, don't go on vacation in Iraq this summer, ever. Okay? Ever.
Yeah.
It's hot as fuck. And so I went there to write war crimes. Which I did, which was so I talked to, War Crimes was probably my best book ever.
Really? You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one. I'll have to get it.
Yeah. My best book in terms of my writing and my experiences.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a book called Conduct Unbecoming.
That's the one I was thinking of with Obama.
Yeah. It compares Obama to Bill Clinton.
Okay.
And it comes across because Obama is way worse than Bill Clinton.
So did you ever meet the Obamas?
No.
Okay.
No.
But just from what you heard and gathered and, people told you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What was, when Obama first came on the scene, had you already been hearing, hearing things, or was it more once he already came into office?
Oh, no. I knew all about him before, way before, yeah.
Mm.
That's why I wrote about him. And I kind of wrote it. So my books are kind of sequentially about Democrats disconnect with our military. So the first one, so they're kind of not even a trilogy. I don't know. What's a quattro?
A saga. How about that?
Yeah. So my first book is about the Clintons and me being there personally. My second book is about, the Democrats disconnect with the military.
Okay.
My third book, which I went over to Iraq for, which I actually embedded with the Marine Corps, which was actually, it was, again, hot as you cannot believe.
Yeah.
And I went on patrols with the Marine Corps in Iraq in 2005. War crimes is my talk about Democrats in general.
Okay.
With the Marines, with the American public. My fourth book is called On Conduct on Becoming, which I kind of compare Barack Obama to Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton comes out a lot better. I mean, that's my thesis is that, it's going on right now. I don't know if you're on X a lot or if you're on,
I love X. Yeah, it's the best.
If you go back and look at how Democrats don't understand the U.S. military, it is absolutely amazing that we have a party that will doesn't understand what it means to serve. What it means, and they're still going on. I mean, Kamala Harris talking about the fact that we have no active duty.
Yeah.
And we have a shit ton of active duty. In combat zones right now. And I don't know if you saw the video on X, but these guys are watching her debate and they're going, then where are we? They're in combat zone.
Yeah, exactly.
My idea is just to light people up and expose, that we do have a military. Democrats don't respect them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. That's why I write.
Oh yeah. Did so I have people asking, is Michelle really a woman?
I don't know.
Remember what's her face? Joan Crawford, was it not Joan? Joan Rivers. What she came out and said before she died.
Dude.
You never know these days. There's so much crazy stuff going on. It's been over an hour. Do you want to just do some quick popcorn questions from the chat? I'm
gonna have to go off.
Okay, no problem.
Have a glass of wine with my wife.
All right, Buzz. Well, I really appreciate it, man. This has been really great. Everybody's really enjoyed it.
So. Thank you so much. Yeah, next let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. I'd love to have you back.
You want, man?
All right, Buzz. Sounds good, man. I'll be in touch and we'll do it again sometime.
Okay. Take care, man.
Take care.
See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.